What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, the other day we talked about how rookie Jeff Okudah was struggling early in training camp, and we talked about why you shouldn't worry and all of that. However, there are a lot of rookies in this Detroit Lions draft class that have hit the ground running in training camp, and they're already having success. They're already finding success in this Detroit Lions offense, and they're already making a case for them to have roles on the team. And in my opinion, the most impressive of the bunch is the Detroit Lions second-round selection, Deandre Swift. Now, today we're going to be going over Deandre Swift's camp so far, just talking a little bit about what he's done, what he's doing, what kind of comparisons are being drawn for him, and just kind of what he could do and what we could expect from Deandre Swift in the 2020 NFL season. Now, before we do get into the video, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying the content, consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel, as it only takes 2 seconds out of your day to make mine, and I would be very appreciative to everybody that chooses to do so. But with that being said, let's get into talking about Deandre Swift, the comparisons that are being drawn for him, and what he can do for the Detroit Lions in this 2020 NFL season. Now, as I said, it's only been a few days of training camp as of the time I am recording this. It's only been 4 days of training camp, but Deandre Swift is already turning heads with, his play, with his versatility and his receiving ability, especially in the one-on-one drills, where it seems like no linebacker or defensive player that lines up against him can seem to stop Deandre Swift. Now, Deandre Swift is starting to be compared to the likes of guys like Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara, who are legit, who were competing for Rookie of the Year when they were rookies, who are, big threats in the receiving and the rushing game and are game changers in the NFL. And I can definitely see the comparisons. The more people bring it up, the more you look into it, the more you see the similarities between guys like Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, and Deandre Swift. Now, looking at their college statistics from the last year they were in college, so the year right before they went to the NFL, Deandre Swift had 196 rushing attempts for 1,218 rushing yards, averaging 6.2 yards a carry, had 7 rushing touchdowns, while also receiving 24 balls for 216 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, Christian McCaffrey had 253 rushing attempts for 1,603 yards, averaging 6.3 yards a carry, 13 touchdowns, while having 37 receptions for 310 yards and 3 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, in his final season at Tennessee, had 103 rushing attempts for 596 yards, while averaging 5.8 yards a carry and 9 touchdowns. He also had 40 receptions for 392 yards and 4 touchdowns. So all of these guys are very versatile. All these guys are very, very good rushing and receiving. They can run any route you need out of the backfield. They can do anything you need as the quarterback, as the offense. They can fill any role you need, whether you want them to run between the tackles, run outside the tackles, run to the edge, whether you want them to be on option routes or just swing routes, whether you want them to block. Like, they can do anything you want them to do, and they are all very versatile and very good running backs. Now, one thing that I also think they have all in common is that they were very underutilized in the receiving game in college. Now, we know in the NFL, Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara are two of the best receiving backs in the NFL, as Alvin Kamara has had 81 receptions in each of his first 3 seasons, which is more than double what he had in his final year at Tennessee. And Christian McCaffrey has had over 100 receptions in the past 2 seasons, which is more than triple what he had the last season at Stanford. Now, Deandre Swift was utilized the least out of the 3 in the receiving game. As I said, he only had 24 receptions in the 2019 college football season. And, Stafford loves to use his receiving back. Stafford loves to throw the ball to the backfield and just let his running backs and receivers make plays. Now, if you just look at the stats, right, last year that he had J.D. McKissic as his primary receiving back. J.D. McKissic had 34 receptions for 233 yards and a receiving touchdown. And however, obviously Matthew Stafford was hurt for half the season, and the Detroit Lions emphasized going deep a lot more than they did checking the football down. However, throughout Stafford's career, he has been known to check the football down to his running backs a lot. He has been known to throw a lot of underneath things to his wide receivers or to his running backs and just let his running backs go make plays. We saw that a lot with Theo Riddick, who was the primary receiving back for a very long time in Detroit. In 2018, Theo Riddick had 61 receptions for 384 yards. In 2017, Theo Riddick had 53 receptions for 444 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Deandre Swift is the most talented of the bunch. Deandre Swift is the most talented receiving back Stafford has ever had in his career. I mean, Deandre Swift was so underutilized in college as a receiver, but if you look at the highlights, if you look at the tape of him doing receptions, you see him getting crazy receptions. You see him making moves out of the catch in open space. You see him making one-handed catches and making guys miss. And, he's doing so much stuff out of the backfield showed that, this was a fantastic pick for the Detroit Lions. You might not say we need another running back, but the Detroit Lions, as of right now, or at least before they drafted Jason Huntley, they didn't really have that receiving back that Stafford loves to utilize. They have Kerryon Johnson, who can catch the ball, but he's not very good at it. He's not necessarily a receiving back. They have Bo Scarborough, who isn't really a receiving back. You have all of these guys that are really good runners of the football, but you don't have a super talented receiving back that Stafford can rely on when stuff breaks down. When he gets pressure up the middle, he can just flip it 2 yards forward to Deandre Swift, or he can just flip it 2 yards forward to that receiving back and have that guy go make a play, have that guy make somebody miss and go get the first down. The Detroit Lions did not have that guy before they drafted Deandre Swift, and I don't think they would have drafted a running back if Deandre Swift wasn't there. Deandre Swift, in my opinion, was the best receiving back in the NFL draft, and the Detroit Lions were missing that piece on the offense this season, the Detroit Lions were missing that piece on the offense before they acquired Deandre Swift. So, he was a really good pick in my opinion, and he's going to just make this offense so much better. He's going to open up so many more things in the pass game. He's going to open up so many more things in the run game, and it's only a matter of time before Deandre Swift is a NFL superstar, in my opinion. He's just got so much talent. He produced so much at the college football level, and he is just such a great talent that there's no way he doesn't succeed in the NFL as long as he can stay healthy. Now, obviously, the last day of training camp yesterday, he did not participate. I heard it was a lower leg injury. However, I do think it was being more precautionary. I don't think that it was necessarily a thing that he couldn't play. I think it was more like, he tweaked something and the Detroit Lions coaching staff didn't want to risk him, hurting it even more. So they just had him sit out for the day and, didn't want him participating and risk injuring it anymore. We've seen that out of Kerryon Johnson already. We saw that out of Bo Scarborough already. The Detroit Lions are just resting their running backs because they're very talented at the running back position, but however, a lot of their running backs tend to get hurt quite often. So I think it was more just a precautionary thing for the Detroit Lions to sit Deandre Swift yesterday. When Deandre Swift is playing, as we've said in camp, he is not being stopped by anybody. Deandre Swift is not being stopped by the linebackers. He's gone up against every linebacker so far. Jared Davis, Jelani Tavai, Jason Kabinda, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, Reggie Ragland, even Jamie Collins, and nobody has been able to stop him in 1v1s yet, and he just looks like an absolutely dynamic threat in the pass game for the Detroit Lions. He's already receiving praise from his teammates, he's already receiving praise from his coaches, and he's already receiving praise from NFL analysts, especially Dan Orlovsky, who was the former Detroit Lions backup quarterback. Dan Orlovsky can't talk enough about this guy. He talked about his route running, his hands, his versatility, and everything along those lines. Everything I've seen from Deandre Swift, every person that I've seen talk about Deandre Swift so far has been positive. I don't think I've heard a single negative thing about Deandre Swift so far this offseason, and that's because there's not a lot of negativity to say. In my opinion, he should have gone in the first round. He should have been a first round pick. And as I said, if Deandre Swift wasn't there in the second round, if Deandre Swift wasn't there at the 35th pick, I think the Detroit Lions go a different direction. I don't think that they reach to get J.K. Dobbins. Even if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is there, he's not necessarily, in my opinion, the best receiving threat he's not, in my opinion, the receiving that the Deandre Swift is. I think both of those guys are super talented, and I wouldn't have necessarily been mad if we had picked them up. In my opinion, if Deandre Swift was not there, the Detroit Lions would not have drafted a running back in the second round. Deandre Swift is going to transform this offense. He's going to transform this receiving game. He's going to transform this passing game, and it's going to look so much better than last season. And last season it looked phenomenal, but now Matthew Stafford not only has all the weapons to go deep and go intermediate, he also has the weapons in Deandre Swift and Kerryon Johnson that he can throw in the backfield, and those guys are going to make people miss. Those guys are going to, pick up first downs even if you throw it behind the line of scrimmage. They're going to make people miss in the backfield, and it's going to be amazing. This pass game is going to take another step forward, even though it was so good last season. In my opinion, Deandre Swift is the next NFL superstar. It's only a matter of time if Deandre Swift is used correctly, if his skill set is put to the right use, which we know the Detroit Lions have struggled with sometimes in the past. If Deandre Swift's skill set is put to use correctly, if he is used in the correct way, in the correct system, and he is utilized correctly, in my opinion, it's only a matter of time before Deandre Swift is the next game changer in the NFL. If he is used correctly, he will compete for Offensive Rookie of the Year, just as Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey both did. He will be competing for Offensive Player of the Year in a few years like Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey are doing. He will be the next game changer, the next game breaker in the NFL as Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey are doing right now in the NFL. It's only a matter of time, and we're already seeing him transition. Deandre Swift is one of the most talented running backs to come out of this class and one of the more talented running backs to come out of the NCAA in a very long time. And, you know, we've seen the emergence of the receiving back. We've seen the emergence of guys like Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara and other receiving backs, and they thrive in Detroit. Matthew Stafford makes those guys thrive, and he makes all of those guys better. You know, you look at Theo Riddick and J.D. McKissic. What have they done before or after the Detroit Lions? Not a whole lot, but when they got here, they were a primary part of this passing game, and Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions system made them look elite, or they made them look really, really good. So, I mean, Deandre Swift is going to make that excel. You know, Deandre Swift is better than Theo Riddick. Deandre Swift is better than J.D. McKissic, and it's, you know, the passing game is going to look so much better. Matthew Stafford now, once again, has that great receiving back that if stuff breaks down, if he gets pressure, Stafford could just flip it out to the running back and have faith that Deandre Swift is going to just make a play in the backfield and extend the drive. With that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. If you are new to the channel, as I said, please take those 2 seconds it does take out of your day to hit the like and subscribe button. It makes my day. It only takes 2 seconds out of yours, so if you could do that, I'd be very, very appreciative. But with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. If there is Lions news before tomorrow, I will obviously make a video letting every single person know. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. I will see you all tomorrow with more Detroit Lions content. But until then, that is all I got for you guys right now. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.